Hello, everybody, and welcome to Eminence TV Live, our weekly rundown of tournament CEDH and what's going on in the CEDH community. I'm Scott, whatever. As always, I'm joined by Ashani, aka the Jamaican Dude, from Playing with Power. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Moxfield and the Epic Storm, without whom this would not be so amazing. If you're enjoying Eminence content and would like to see more, please consider subscribing here on Twitch. If you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe to one channel a month for free, and we'd love if you'd consider using that on us, rather. Also, you can sign up for a membership at the Eminence Marketplace. At eminencemarket.com, you can sign up for a membership, and a gold membership gets you access to ticket sales 1 week early, which proved, I think, invaluable to several people trying to sign up for the cookout, as I'm told, many people. So, if you wish to have early access, you should go do that. Another thing that is important is EDH.events is in beta right now, but aims to catalog all CEDH and EDH events tied to Command Tower. Command Tower is the piece of software that was written by the lovely developers here at Eminence MTG to help you run your locals, your tournaments, all your Magic the Gathering needs. A feature of Command Tower is Eminence Profiles, which are competitive player profiles that list your wins and loss ratios based on any event you have participated in that was ran through the Command Tower software. So your record in your locals carries over to your Eminence profile, and you can say, take a look at my Eminence profile. See that I am a good player. Which is great. Importantly, for Command Tower, it is now live. You know that. For shops and TLs globally to use, memberships go from $5 and up a month. Part of Command Tower is shop partnerships, where the shop partners sponsor a player or players in a main Eminence event, and then shops purchase their entry to the event and hold the CEDH event at their shop, with the winner getting a sponsored ride to a tournament. We reserve a certain amount of tickets for shop partners in an effort to bridge the gap between large-scale event systems like Eminence and LGS level scenes like your LGS. And we have some important dates to go over. The first is that this weekend, yes, in 4 days. 4 days from now, Hunt City 2 is March 24th through the 26th in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. Are we very excited for that in the chat? I am. All right, we've got a very exuberant celebration in the top left of the screen. Excellent. The 29th through the 30th of July, that's July 29th through 30th, 2023, we have the Cookout in Atlanta, Georgia. That is sold out. That's sold out in 45 minutes. We broke the record from last time, and there may be some tickets that bump back into the queue with payments bouncing and that kind of thing, so please make sure to check regularly at the Cookout's webpage, which I'm sure Ashani will find and post in the chat. And make sure to check back regularly. Maybe you can get a ticket, or I'm not sure about a wait list this time. It sold out pretty quick. Windmill Slam. That's another one that's happening, and it's September 29th through October 1st in San Jose, California. That's our return to the West Coast. Very excited to have everybody get out there, and certainly very excited for Punt City 2 and the Cookout. Punt City 2 is set to be, I think, the greatest CEDH tournament that ever CEDH'd. The lineup of people attending is completely stacked. If we're trying to determine the real regent of CEDH, it could be determined there. I'm almost 100% sure of it. Also, it's going to be the best coverage that you've ever seen in your entire life, and I say that very, very, very confidently because I have Ashani and Adam by my side to help me fix all my idiot mistakes while we do it. So, looking forward to it very much. Tonight, we have a very special guest, Dallas Walker, who recently ran, from what I hear, a good Pauper EDH event, and we are here to talk. Well, yeah, we are here to talk a little bit more about Pauper EDH tonight, what it is, how Dallas became interested in the format, and any other questions that you, the chat, might have a chance to shoot. Well, we'll see. We'll see what we have for time. But Dallas, thank you so much for joining us. Could you, in case people have been under a rock for the last 20 years, uh, who are you in greater detail, and where can we find you on the internet?
So sure. Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm not sure if I'm so notable as to have anyone needing to have been paying attention to me for 20 years, but yeah, if you were paying attention, you may know who I am. Yep. So I'm at Gilded Adonis on Twitter. You can find me on YouTube. I'm starting to upload the recordings of games at my tournaments. It's at Pauper Prince on YouTube for those recordings. I am a shop owner and not owner, but manager here in Philadelphia at King of Game Cafe. And I've been involved with Pauper in general with Magic the Gathering for a very long time. I think I started in 2002. I started playing the game around like Ice Age. So I've been at it for a long time. But didn't grow up with money, didn't have access to any of the valuable cards that we all know and love today. So I just kept it at the bottom level. And over time, EDH became super popular. And I was like, let's focus on a budget version of that. So that's the current part of the record.
Excellent. So, you've been playing Magic a lot longer than I have. Not to make you feel old, but I didn't start playing Magic until 2016. So, I am a Magic
very
baby.
young and beautiful. So
Yeah, well, absolutely, of course. But what's your okay? So here's a question that was not on the script. You play regular Pauper, like 60 card Pauper. What's your current deck that you play?
I mean, right now I follow a lot of the decks that Callie K or Simon Ryden plays. He has his own channel on YouTube that you can go check out. So he plays a lot of really intricate engine combo decks. Like there's like a Zorius Flicker combo deck that has been kind of like in the fringes of tier 2 for a bit.
Yeah.
And then also messing around with Altertron. Because I predominantly play in paper as opposed to online. There's a version of Altertron that is like specifically better just when you're playing in person, because loops are easier to declare. So I play that version, and then they play a different version.
Because of the limitations of Moto. Excellent. Dallas, I just want to. I mean, at the start of this, I think a lot of people really haven't, at least as far as kind of the Magic community is concerned, Pauper EDH to at least CEDH players is fairly unknown. It's a new place to explore for a lot of people. We've seen traction for like Oathbreaker among CEDH players, and so Pauper EDH. Can you just tell us a little bit more about Pauper EDH and kind of why it's what you've given your attention to?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So, first and foremost, it's a commander variant, so it borrows from the rules that commander based upon. There's a couple of differences that make a lot of impact. So, you have uncommon creature in the command zone does not have to be legendary. You can use your uncommon legendaries from the Commander Legends set. You also use the backgrounds from Battleful Baldur's Gate.
Oh, you can. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so cards in the 99 have to have been printed at common somewhere at some point. Not counting what's that format on Arena that no one cares about?
Penny Dreadful or whatever.
Well, yeah, that too. But
oh wait, the format on Arena that nobody cares about. Oh, Alchemy.
Arena Alchemy. Yeah,
Alchemy.
So anything that they shift in that format, just know. But yeah, that's the general idea. There's a lot of really unique and powerful combinations that you can do still. Like I love watching playing Power videos and like, and so and so playing Abdel Adrian and Panel Keep Sage. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's just the Pauper Commander deck, and it's very good. Yeah, so and that's the general just the format. There's we do a life reduction just because commons in general can't do quite as much damage. So 30 life and
Okay.
then 16 damage for a command.
Okay.
That's necessary and it's usually totally fine. There's a couple of corner cases where that starts to come up, but only in very specific decks, and none of them are metal power.
So, is there a larger Pauper EDH rules committee? Who's the Sheldon Menery of Pauper EDH?
Man, I really don't know if it's the best for us to have that.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that there is a rules committee, and they don't present themselves as the same kind of like unified, authoritative
Mm-hmm.
body that the EDH rules committee does,
Okay.
like where they post regular quarterly updates to how
Mm-hmm.
they're thinking about things. There are some individual members of the rules committee who do that currently.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, visibility wise, I would say there's this gentleman named Clay, and he's really well known for that.
Yeah, worked with
He's
Clay before.
the person that, yeah. So he's like, I think the old rules committee member. He's the person that would be closest to being the person to fill the role for what you
Mm-hmm.
said. I don't know if I agree with that in a lot of different ways, so I
Yeah,
don't want to get
fair.
into it. But obviously, Clay has just invested so much and given so much to the community. So not to take anything away from him. I'm just more critical of the format of EDH's rules committee,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't want to kind of like put people in a position that they don't necessarily want to be in.
Yeah. That's totally fair. Uh, and I appreciate the candidness there. So, my question, uh, to kind of move into the interview portion of this, what initially got you into the Pauper EDH format? Is it your love of Pauper that just made you kind of move towards Pauper EDH, or was it looking
Yeah,
for?
no, I mean that's definitely part of it. Because I started playing poker in like 2002, 2004. I was running player run events at that
Mhm,
time before it was even sanctioned on Magic Online, and so that's always been a big part of the game for me. I had to take a break from the game for my professional career for about a decade, and
mhm.
now that I've kind of like combined my worlds here at the Game Cafe, I have a little bit more room to do these kinds of things.
Yeah.
There was a Christmas gift exchange event that we did in our local community because there's like 4 game stores in a 5 block radius in
Okay.
Philly, which is kind of crazy. And so the rules were uncommon, legendary, and the rest of the deck had to be like $25 or something like
Oh,
that.
that's cool.
And I was like, well, why don't I just make this a popper deck, right? And so then I just pulled cards from my collection. The card that I picked was Dina Soul Steeper,
Right.
because it's not too difficult to put together an aristocrat strategy in this format.
Mhm.
And I had a lot of the old Dalek cards from like Fallen Empires and stuff. I put like Night Soil in there. I had a Death Spore Thallid from Time Spiral Block, and a
Nice.
bunch of other like just simple basic cards that worked. And I loved the deck so much I gave it to the guy. And then I was like, I'm just going to build this for myself. And then I was like, this doesn't have anyone to play against. I'm going to build a pod for it to play against, and I'll just loan the deck up to everybody. And then
Nice.
I was like, these decks aren't as powerful as I think they can be. I'm going to build 4 competitive decks. And it just snowballed from there. And I kept loaning the decks out to people, and people seemed interested. And so I just kept at it. And I learned about the online community and
Mhm.
started participating there. And there's just so many great Magic players there, right? Because Pauper, you have to be able to assess value and tempo in ways in this format that a lot of other formats don't really worry about too much. And I feel like I like to say Pauper is the format for people that actually like to Magic the Gathering, also opposed to just like doing real powerful things with cards that break the rules of the game in really kind of like profound ways. If you like the mechanics of the game and you like using the mechanics as they were designed, this is the format for you.
Okay, excellent. So you pretty much from the ground up, it sounds like, grew a pauper community, and recently you ran an event, I believe, at your store there. Can you tell us about actually ran it at a beer hall, I remember correctly. Can you
Yeah,
tell
that's
us
right.
about
So
the
um,
Sorry, go ahead.
absolutely. So this is my second event actually. I ran kind of like a pilot event in October.
Okay.
The October event was at my cafe, just to kind
Okay.
of test the waters and see what was possible. I got 32 players for that. We had a great time. But I always wanted to do something bigger and better than whatever I'm capable of.
Mhm.
And so I changed venues because accessibility to the game has always been one of the most important things for me because Magic has taught me so many kind of like really important lessons about life
Mhm.
that have paid massive dividends for me. And play is such a critical function for personal development for kids and people in general. And I think that Magic the Gathering is there as
Yeah.
a game. So I want people to play the game. And so there's a classism angle there. People know that Magic the Gathering is a very expensive game. So if I want to change that, if I want to push back and I have to do it. So I have my most recent was it's a Pauper Commander event. It's very inexpensive to get into, and it was fully 100% proxy friendly. I got that idea mostly from the great work that Eminence is doing in offering proxy friendly CEDH events. Obviously, the total cost for a Pauper Commander deck's only like 40 to 60, $70 if you're like
Mhm.
one of the most expensive ones.
Okay.
But I regularly beat people with $30 decks. So it was definitely awesome. But yeah, I think the radicalness of that, of just being like, yeah, it's a budget format and you can show up with just printed cards.
Yeah.
Um, that was really important to me. And unfortunately, due to the way that Class C handles, these kinds of things, I didn't feel comfortable hosting it at my own store.
Sure.
So I wanted to kind of test the waters in finding a different blueprint for to do an event like this so
Mhm.
that other people could learn from it and maybe make it happen. Yeah, around the world.
Awesome. So, can you tell us the event that you ran on the 12th, I believe, so a week ago?
Yeah, very
Uh,
recently, two
can you
two weeks ago.
can you tell us, first of all, about the turnout that you got, a little bit about if maybe decks that you saw, and I'm curious to know if from the results of that event, from the fruit that has been planted from that event, do you plan on running more events in the future?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess the both. We had 32 people again for this last one, although four of them, because it was a personal mistake on my part, partially. I ran the event on daylight savings
Okay.
time, the day where we left forward. So people were behind on that. And then there was like a St. Patrick's Day parade or something like that in the city. And so four of my players were unable to make it on time.
Oh, okay.
But I did have 32 registrants. So that was unfortunate. But, I'm starting to do these kinds of scale tournaments on my
Mhm.
own. So, growing pains.
Yeah.
But it was really great. I had the venue set and capable for holding 64 because I did like a really aggressive promotional push for the tournament.
Okay.
And I wanted to be able to accommodate that because there was that convention here in Philly recently, and I printed out like 1,000 flyers and
Mhm.
passed them out. And I had no idea what the response to that was going to be. It could have just been crazy, and I could have been maxed out. 'Cause
Yeah.
I see, Eminence selling out all their tickets to all their massive events in like 45 minutes, even with people getting like advanced ticket purchasing,
Yeah.
from like your like premium program and stuff. So hats off to y'all. I would love to be able to replicate something like that. Especially since my events are at a more affordable price level, and I
Mhm.
think a similar level of competition.
Yeah.
Um, but that's how I set it up. I only had 32 people, but yeah, no, it was a very smooth event. Once I got past the juggling of the people dropping from the first round, just to some
Mhm.
people not sure.
Yeah.
I used Eminence's command tower software for my tournament. I was in the beta test for the first one that I ran in October before y'all went live with that, and
Mhm.
it's worked flawlessly every time because once you get above 16 people, doing matchmaking for making their magic is kind of difficult
Yeah.
to just do all by paper. So I was like, nope, I'm gonna do this all above board. I want to have this be as legit as possible, especially if I'm offering money. One of the main incentives to get people to participate is to offer. And so that's been one of my key strategies so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it went really well. The feedback from everybody was super good. I had someone drive out from Indiana. I had people
Wow.
from like Boston, New York, DC. No, it was a great response. I was just happy to see that the person that drove from Indiana actually won the event and
Mhm.
is like a Patreon subscriber to the number one competitive EDH so competitive Pauper Commander YouTube channel.
Mhm.
So it was like the person who invested the most time and the most effort and money won the event. And in my last event as well, the local that I had that invested the most time coming out to our weekly practice sessions won that event too. So I mean, it's only 2 data points, but that's pretty good to see that the people that are investing effort are like fairly consistently so far getting the dividends from their
Yeah.
efforts. Which I like because people talk about variance in this game, and there's absolutely a lot of it. But within a degree or two of reason, it seems to have been working out far, and I'm very happy about that.
And I think
Um,
I think
to your latter part of your
yeah.
question, if I'm going to be hosting another one, yeah, I'm definitely looking for probably like this summer to host a second one. I gotta look at scheduling opportunities and such. And again, I'm running this as a one-person show without significant plans
Yeah.
to scale things up. So there's that limitation as well. But I would expect it sometime in like July.
Excellent.
So my question is, did Tatiova win?
Did Tatiova still win?
No, did
No,
Tatiova make the top 16 or the top table? Because for the last time
Go ahead.
the last time I delved into Pauper, I know Tatiova was a broken thing to be doing in Pauper, and I know I was talking with Clay then, and I figured they were, thinking about banning some cards, but I haven't really like dived into it other than that. So I was just thinking if Tatiova was still the powerhouse in the format.
She's definitely still extraordinarily strong. But there have been some mitigating shakeups that are interesting that we're learning about recently. So for the most recent tournament, she was in the top four. There was two Tattoo players. The second player did not do very well. And then in my first tournament, there was a Tatiova player within the top 16 that did not make it to the finals. The final match, the first tournament, had a Blade Weaver, Lore Weaver combo player,
Yep.
which is land-based combo, right? This is really what we're talking about. And so there was that person at the last event, and then they came to the second event. They didn't again do quite as well, but there was another Simic land combo deck in there as well as Gretchen Titchwillow
Okay.
has picked up a little steam primarily on the back of there's a player that goes by Puzzle Box. I believe their name is also Dallas.
Okay.
Really bizarre. There's like 2,000 people in the Pauper Commander community, and 3 of us are in Dallas. It's really weird. So they won a budget EDH tournament where the deck restriction was $100
Okay.
and just showed up as a literal Pauper Commander deck and won.
Nice.
with Gretchen Titchwillow. Yeah. So mega props to Puzzle Box for that one. I personally don't know. I don't have a ton of experience with them. I've played both of the decks, but
Yeah.
I don't know enough to say whether or not one is decidedly better than the other. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely still very strong decks. Combo is in an interesting position in this format where, and I don't know about the corollaries to CEDH because I know that CEDH is primarily combo focused. Obviously, there are like some
Yeah.
stacks and some aggro decks, but by and large, it usually win through some sort of a loop. Or game winning declaration from the fact that we have in this one.
Yeah.
But what we're noticing is that when the table has at least 50% or more, at least aggro or mid range, it can even, yeah, it can just be like mid range decks. Combo's ability to win in this format drops very quickly
Mm.
because we don't have like there's no stifle effects. There's no there's very few free counter spells, and the ones that we do have like foil and daze just like aren't that great.
Hmm.
So our ability to stop combo players like this is kind of limited in the immediate sense. But what there's a game theory thing that happens where when enough aggro or enough mid-range players sit at the table, there's enough incidental combat damage that they have access to that they can just bully the combo player out of the game before they even get to do anything.
Yeah.
That goes with it's like everyone's got guns pointing to each other's heads, but
Yeah.
instead of pointing at each other's heads, it's like you die if you don't all point your guns at
At the combo
And the
player.
combo player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
right. So, for sure, go ahead.
yeah, so like just for the content I've watched, it was kind of that was kind of the dynamic of the game. It was, I believe it was mono black. I don't remember the commander, but it was rat colonies. That was kind of the whole idea of the deck. Was just playing a bunch of rats, and they were like, okay, you gotta keep attacking the combo player cause, and it was to my surprise, there was a lot of removal in the format. As you said, there's not a lot of counter spells, but there was a lot of permanent base removal, which I thought was cool. I thought the dynamic for Pauper EDH was pretty interesting. It was pretty good gameplay, pretty very interesting, and people should check it out if they're looking for something.
Excellent. So we kind of touched on it, but I want to just double back for a second. So we've talked about how combo and aggro and mid range kind of balance themselves out in the format, provided people assess the threat correctly. But would you say that the current metagame of Pauper EDH is healthy, or would you say that there's room for it to become healthier?
I think that it's pretty healthy right now, assuming that you're in kind of like a vacuum where all players sitting down at the table know what they need to be doing.
Mhm.
It's just the case right now that not everyone does. Because it is a fairly new format, there's a lot of people getting in that just don't know what they're doing. Also, I'm having a lot of local players and not so much people that spend a lot of time kind of like grinding out knowledge and experience online. Even though we're working up to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like even in my tournament, like I saw a lot of people just like making bad assessments and throwing games away because they didn't understand what they needed to be doing.
Yeah.
But when I play online with a lot of really talented players in the community discords,
Mhm.
we have great games, and regardless of what say archetypical like makeup of all the decks are. They play out in interesting ways. You can predict some of it, some of it you can't. And yeah, like almost every combo in the format is relevant require you to be on the board
Mhm.
in order for it to happen. So that's the reason why there's so much creature removal on top of the fact that like there's a lot of
Mhm.
so yeah, it feels very good. Obviously, part of the challenge here, but I don't think that it's generatively strong, but then also it's just like, if you look at CEH, like they're not banning combo cards because
Yeah.
muscling out aggro's ability to be aggro. It's
Yeah.
just playing the game. And there are other ways other than the one through deck to like
Hmm.
win. When you do figure that out, people are gonna like hate you out of the game just as quickly. So
Yeah.
I feel very good about it. That there's only two banned cards in the format right now. It's Mystic Remora and Mystic Study.
Yeah, I figured.
I joined after those were banned,
Okay.
but some of the people that I really trust, like Papa Popper, just one of the really, prominent people on YouTube right now, he played during those times, and he can recount so many games, anecdotes to you, where it's just like they go for the combo win, but then like you have to expend so much interaction to stop them. These systems that people build up are so resilient that
Hmm.
by the time that the player's out of resources, like yeah, they don't have any mana anymore, but as soon as they untap, the hand's still full.
They have
But
30
they're still
cards. Yeah.
discarding at the end of the turn. Yeah, exactly right. So it was absolutely clearly the best decision to remove those cards because blue's already like an extremely powerful color,
Sure.
and giving it access to the most busted value engines in the game period
Hmm.
is probably otherwise no, I don't have any like egregious issues. I know that there's a 1v1 variant, right? This Copper Dual Commander.
Hmm.
They've banned Oubliette.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
I don't play that much of it, but
Yeah.
yeah, phasing out someone's commander, they don't get the opportunity to return to the command zone.
Yeah.
Many decks don't have access to a lot of enchantment removal.
Mhm.
I can see how having that in your opening hand basically just do the game if you're playing sports. So I guess I understand that.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. Well, that actually covers what the next question is. So I'll move on to the question after that. With regards to deck composition, a standard CEDH deck has a strong need for like a few things: ramp, card draw, interaction, and finishers. But in Pauper EDH, a lot of that ramp, card draw, interaction, and finishers are not available because they are rares or uncommons. So in Pauper EDH, what are kind of the hits of the format compared to the Thoracle, the Mana Crypt, the Force of Will, etc.? What cards are more included? Are the auto includes?
Right. I mean, this is matched together. We're talking about right. There's no definitive answer to
Yeah.
everything. I mean, I did come up with just like a good card for each of the colors off the top of my head to kind of give you an answer for.
Hmm.
Like really powerful cards like ritual, foil, days. I said relative progenitus. There's a lot of combos that involve flicker loops or
Yeah.
spell recursion. So being able to target the graveyard in the middle of someone's loop is really, really important. Oubliette, like we talked about, finds a vast wood for green is just like
Hmm.
it answers everything. You target your opponents with it. It gives you power as well.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Gitaxian Probe, that's legal. Days, Gush, Treasure Cruise, all these just like super, super
Yeah. A lot of really
efficient
strong.
cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I built a deck around Gush and Treasure Cruise, and it's just super nasty. You can have crazy turns out of nowhere. Um, yeah, I feel like the game still needs a couple of tools. Like we need like a red or a white stifle effect.
Hmm.
That would do a lot to assisting those colors. Red is probably the best. The stuff I feel like red and blue are kind of tied as far as like some colors are
Hmm.
concerned. But black and green just really give you so much on their own. And, to answer your perspective, how we don't have access to a lot of those like really powerful game winning effects or types of interactions and how they're gated behind rarity. That kind of like focuses a lot of attention for the format onto the specific commander choices, because the uncommon creatures as your commanders give you access to like really profoundly powerful tools that you would never be able to see in common, like your Viscopa Guild Mage has a activated ability that's 3 mana, and every time you would gain life this turn, your opponents like lose that much life instead,
Oh,
but
okay.
if not tapping. So you could just activate that multiple times and then just nuke everybody beyond the scale of the game very easily. Or like laboratory maniac, like that gives you access to the mill with the condition. It's metaphorical, but you can still get those kinds of effects, but they're only in your command zone.
Yeah.
So that's the dynamic.
Beautiful. Thank you for that answer. That was wow. That was a really good answer. It makes me very. I kind of want to try and brew Pauper EDH now. I mean, is there space for people to brew in Pauper EDH or?
It is like almost entirely comprised of breweries. Like if you are a competent deck builder and you know what you're doing, you can make nearly anything work. I think that there are some decks that definitely have like just clear advantages statistically over their opponents, but that is table dependent. If you come in here with your Tantioba deck and you've got like a 30-40% win rate as far as your deck choice is concerned, but if you're sitting down at a table with like 2 mono black deck and like a red blue Voltron deck, like you're dead. That's really all it is to it. Outside of just being extremely lucky. So what I see is a lot of mid to mid-high level decks winning games in these kinds of games, because I mean you see like if you're the third player in turn order in a CDH game, and player 2 goes for the win and player 1 has the resources open to try and stop player 2 from winning. That means that player 3 statistically, I think player 1 is most advantageous to win, and then player 3 is behind that. Is that how it works? I'm not like a super
Yeah, I
entrenched
think
CEH player,
it's
but I do watch a lot of content. So
yeah.
But yeah, there's the same kind of dynamic where it's just like it's very positional. There's a lot of politicking that goes on, like way more than CEH.
Okay.
Just because the games are a little bit slower, averaging around turn 10 at this point. And it's been coming down in the last couple, like 6 months, based on the data we've been tracking. But yeah, there's a lot of politicking that happens because the games are slower, and there's a lot of combat games. There's a lot of like, well, who am I spending this removal on? Yeah, and it just results in a big game, in my opinion.
Excellent. I love a wide open kind of meta game. I'm very excited. I play I play stupid Pauper decks. I play like Jund Gardens and I play like Teamer Cascade. So the big say that again, sorry?
Sorry. Teamer Sabletooth mono green combo deck. One of my locals has that. Okay.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. That do you does it Apex Devastator? That would be very that's probably a rare.
That would be amazing. That's a mythic.
The annoying Altasaur is the word that I'm thinking of.
Annoyed Altasaur,
yeah. Cool.
You
That's
play,
very
you
cool.
play Emoti.
Oh
Your spells get
yeah.
and cast Annoyed Altasaur, and then just keep yourself all the way down to 1. Yeah, it's crazy.
I think I literally have an Emoti within arm's reach right now at my desk here. That's funny. Okay. I guess I have basically 2 final questions for you. We've kind of talked about must includes, and we've determined that basically in Pauper EDH it's like more wide open. There are cards that are good that decks should play, but there's not so much a list of format staples as there is in a format like CEDH. So
there's a CEDH rec website, but
okay.
It's a little over the side. It's not complete or anything like that.
Okay.
And it only shows you the top 100 cards within each individual color, so it has its own fundamental limitations.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, Rip Rats, Pestilence, you're a black deck, play those cards.
Yeah.
And that's going to work out really well for you 9 times out of 10. There's always going to be exceptions, like if I'm playing a black deck that focuses on going wide with like tokens or rats or something, maybe don't focus your game plan around those.
Hmm.
Well,
Excellent. So moving on to this question, this is the one that I saved for towards the end of everything to give you room if you want to. What are your Pauper EDH hot takes? Do you have anything that
yeah.
would get other Pauper EDH players to say, "Huh"?
Riled up.
Um, I think the rules committee could be a little bit more organized. That's fraught with like any attempted organization. That's going to open you up to making bad decisions.
Hmm.
And I can just imagine a future where people make corollaries between the PDHRC and the EDHRC, and I think that you probably will avoid that. But yeah, I mean, even though most Pauper players, I would say that are really interested and invested in the format are very good players, they're still just a lot of really average players.
Hmm.
This format, maybe more than any other, you need to know what kind of game you're playing. What's the classic saying? Misassignment of role equals game loss. Um, I see a lot of people. There's like an aggro deck at the table. There's a couple mid ranges. There's like a combo deck, but it's not a top tier combo deck.
Hmm.
And I just see the combo player look at that all the time because like the aggro player comes down on like turn 4 and can manifest 20 damage. And yeah, that's definitely scary. But like if you look at it from a holistic perspective, if the combo player is able to execute their plan 1 times 6 and that effectively does 90 damage to the table, just because that's how much life you have. And if the game's over, your life is 0.
Yeah.
Right. So I look at it from that perspective. If the total number of damage that is being put out by the table or your other immediate opponents to your left and your right don't equal that number, it's probably not correct to worry about them until later in the game. So, I would deploy your threats, focus on the really important threat that you won't have the ability to interact with once start doing their thing. And then kind of like setting yourself up to, after the dust settles, be able to kind of like take stock of things and clear the board if you need to. If you're like red or black, you've got air sweepers for the format, or defend yourself. There's a really great like card that's just like pay a white mana, pay 2 life, and nullify all damage from a becoming creature.
Hmm.
So if one of your opponent's decks is a really powerful Voltron deck, which is not amazing, but
Yeah.
definitely prevalent in the format. Like that's one way to just stop yourself from losing the game. Prismatic Strands. It's what's the green one that can be flashbacked?
I don't know. Sorry. It's
Yeah,
green.
I don't remember the name.
Or is
What's
it
it called?
are we Spore Frogging? No.
Well, Spore Frog is in the format, yeah, for sure.
More
But
moments.
anyway, there's a
Peace?
green
Is it?
card. Yeah, Moment's Peace. There you go. You can set up the Tortured Existence Spore Frog blocks. You can Turbo Fog, for sure. Yeah, that's my recommendation.
Excellent. Dallas, I have one other question that I ask everyone who comes on to the show, and it's probably the most important question of the night. Everybody wants to know your answer to this, and it's this. What is the sexiest soup?
See a suit. Probably Sulphur Springs with Devil and then he's all like a skeleton now. Old Sulphur Springs had a little devil children in a little pool, and then when they reprinted it, Dominaria United, like these just skeleton now.
And that's the sexiest soup?
Humans are pretty so yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Dallas, thank you so much for joining us. You are at Gilded Adonis on Twitter. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the insight into Pauper EDH, and I hope that as I start to explore the format a little bit more, maybe we can talk again about cards and that kind of thing. Thank you so much for your time. Ashani, thank you for joining me again. You are at ja_Shawnee. Is that where people are finding you now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Importantly, I cannot end the broadcast without saying that in 4 actual days, Punt City 2 is happening, and I will see you all in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. And if you bring me zero sugar or low carb monster, I will give you the biggest hug you have ever received. I am Scoots. You can find me at It's Me Scoots.
I would be there, but it's my girlfriend's birthday. So sorry.
Priorities.
I love Magic. I love y'all, but not that much.
Priorities. They're more important, certainly. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us, and we will see you. We're not going to be here next week. We're going to be here the week after that. After Punt City 2, Ashani and I are going to be both mentally and physically dead. So we won't be here next Monday, but we'll be here the Monday after that. And we look forward to seeing you same bat time, same bat channel back here. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you later.